September 11, 2021, Reshaping the Island. Today, people around the country are talking about and thinking about 9/11, and I posted my diary entry from that day to Facebook. I was surprised to read the last line, which was worrying about germ warfare. Here we are, 20 years later, hated even more by most of the rest of the world, and vaccinating ourselves with trial vaccines and wearing masks just to try and keep from dying. This whole culmination of events, from animal abusers trying to kill me to the pandemic, has made me more aware of how precious our time here on this planet is. There are a lot of changes I have wanted to make at the island, but Jamie keeps insisting that she and Victor can handle those changes when they finish other projects, when they aren't suffering from aching backs. They are on the road for 2 weeks, and I've been using every minute of that opportunity to reshape this island into the paradise I can see it becoming. I put out for quotes from Angie and found Alexander Hodge, who has torn down the rotting screened room and rotten decks from the east and south sides of the house. I'm spending about $10,000 on the entire project, but it will include ripping out 95 sable palms that are crowding oaks and each other, and replanting 60 of them into trios out in the field between Jamie's house and mine. He's going to transplant ferns and some other plants around those trios and along the riverbank where I had him, and Howie helped even more than Alexander's crew did, to take out the invasive peppers that block Jamie's view of Rocky Creek. I also had him dig out the grass, cattails, and weeds that blocked my view of Rocky Creek, and he will be transplanting some Wedelia and ferns to try and crowd out the invasive plants and prevent soil erosion. I've asked for quotes to repair the siding on my house and paint it by Aldo, a contact of Victor's, and Ray Pardini from Visual Enhancements. I want to paint it a bright seafoam green, but I promised Jamie she could help me select the color, as that's one in my colorblind wheel that I probably won't choose well. I want to rip out all of the south and west walls of this shack and replace with glass, and have Cyan, Afton's boyfriend, coming to quote the job. But Jamie says he's 5 times more expensive than what she can get via Lowe's. If nothing else, it was helpful to hear from someone who wasn't trying to sell me architectural services that I have to go through the full general contractor permitting process just to open a hole in the wall for a window. That will be months of waiting. Jeff Lowe has 4 bench warrants out for his arrest. Jeff Lowe failed to appear for the Las Vegas trouble he got into back in 2017. He was required to pay $20,000 and stay out of trouble for a year, but he wasn't able to keep his nose clean. So on September 8th, he was supposed to return to court there and skipped out again. Now there are 4 bench warrants for his arrest. He did attend, pro se, at our court hearing September 8th, but Judge Pock got all fussy about our damage claims and is requiring us not only to prove the expenses, but also show a copy of each and every check and credit card payment we made to cover those damages. It's more work than the $20,000 we are claiming, but Howie dutifully spent 2 days gathering all of that, and we will be back in court on September 16th. I think Judge Pock is annoyed at us for even bringing this claim, when we all know Lowe isn't going to pay it. We are holding his feet to the fire, though, because we are hoping the judge will issue a charging order instead of just a money judgment. Failure to pay a charging order could result in prison time, and that's the only motivator to Jeff Lowe from what I can tell. Approval of first 2 episodes of Carole Baskin's Cage Fight. The ITV team has sent over both episodes for our comments, and we have made all of them that mattered to us. Now they are running the episodes past their legal team, and the last 2 sticking points are whether or not scabs on Cubs' faces really come from being crated so much of their lives, and whether or not what I said about Mario Tabraue was defensible. Pat wrote, quote, I need a little help with some legal questions. We haven't been able to locate evidence of Tabraue admitting on camera that he's responsible for killing a DEA agent. Any way to confirm this, Carole? Are there alternative explanations for the abrasions on the lion cub's nose, other than being kept in a cage that's too small? Unless it is the only explanation, we should avoid Carole's statement that the abrasions mean he was kept in too small a cage. Carole, Howard, what else can I say to push back on this? Unquote. I wrote Pat. I've been dealing with cub pimps for nearly 30 years, And while it's possible for a cub to scratch their face by being struck by a limb falling from a tree following a lightning strike, it's almost always due to being crated in pet taxis and tiny dog crates for long periods of time in between cub handling. Sheesh. Why would legal want to take a stand on this hill? What possible excuse could they make up that would exonerate cub abusers? As for Tabraue, I have put this clip up from Tiger King episode 2, starting at the 14-minute mark, where Tabraue says, with his own lips, quote, "People like Carole Baskin use me as the poster child. I shouldn't have animals because I was a convicted felon, but I did time for what I did. Sometimes they say that I'm the prototype for Scarface. I got to the point where I was on the phone saying, Mario's Drugstore specializing in marijuana, cocaine, and quaaludes. Anybody interested? Come and get it, including you, Metro Dade Organized Crime Bureau. They got me on tape." His name was Larry Nash, and he was an ATF informant. A guy who worked for me shot him, and they panicked and dumped him on my farm. I had a crazier partner than me who said, let's just cut him up and burn him. So we burned him. You know, I really didn't even do most of the stuff, but I carry the stigma of it. What am I going to tell the feds now, or the judge? Your Honor, I did not shoot him, and I did not use the circular saw on his neck. It was somebody else. What difference does it make? I was still there. The judge gave me 100 years, but I won the appeal. Unquote. He didn't win an appeal. The Associated Press reported in the Tampa Tribune on August 20th, 2000, which was republished on September 27th of 2005, that Tabraue's sentence was reduced from 100 years to 12 for becoming an informant himself. And I gave a link to the newspaper article, quoting them saying, "A drug trafficker who once hacked a federal informant's body to pieces is free after serving only 12 years of a 100-year sentence for helping convict other narcotics traders. But Assistant U.S. Attorney M. Patrick Sullivan said Tabraue deserved a reduced sentence because his testimony helped build cases against murderers, high-level drug traffickers, and money launderers. His help was apparently so valuable, prosecutors ignored their own rules that informant sentences should not be reduced by more than half." Unquote. I wrote the FWC regarding the triploid grass carp. Dear Rhonda, on September 10, 2021, Charles Thompson evaluated our situation at the sanctuary, and I gave the address, and approved us for 15 grass carp per acre of water, and there are 18 acres. He said he would call it in to you yesterday, and then I could expect the permit from you for 270 of the grass carp. Charles said that I would then have to find a vendor, but said he thinks the only one in Florida is now defunct, and I may need to order from Arkansas. Can you tell me where I can buy these fish and when I can expect the permit to be documented? Can this be done via email? Big Cat Rescue's Coinbase account was approved. Well, that took long enough. Bitcoin is up $10,000 since I applied for this institutional account. If you're enjoying my diary, please like, share, and subscribe. You can find other ways to connect to me over at bigcatrescue.org/Carole.Baskin.